that is called 353 on Main Road, that has started around some public participation around what is feasible in Tafelberg. And we've said that there is a feasibility study that says social housing can be built on that site. And yourself,
and we asked registered people to register.
Yes, and we'd registered on that. And yourself, before you came to office, was working around this thing around undoing the legacy of special apartheid. Around undoing the legacy of special apartheid. There's an op-ed that we wrote around that, and we thought that look, Tafelberg presents itself as an opportunity to do that. But beyond that, what you've been saying is that we know that litigation will not speak to what must be built on the site, but it is dealing with specifics of the law around the role of government to undo special apartheid, but also part of the argument was around Western Cape Administration Act and which law should be used and guide the province in terms of disposals of public parcels of land.
So let me say to you that obviously before the election, it was election time. Sometimes thought you were more of a political party than, but I mean that's done. The election is over. People have spoken. I was really excited that the court case was done and we were now going to move forward. And in actual fact, even before that happened, our team already said, let's start registering interested and affected parties to deal with Tafelberg. And then what happens? Back to court again, appeal. I got angry about that, I'll be honest, because that is not helping us get forward. And we showed goodwill to say that let's register interested and affected parties. You registered as well as an interested and affected party to find a place for people to live. It's point. We want to do that. Now you want to go back to court again. Hey. But I then said yes, I'll meet with you. But then I got cross. I said no, I'm not going to. But then of course then stuff happened, and I was involved with setting up the government. So in actual fact, what I've said to our team, and we've got a date set. I don't know, it's in the diary now. Before I meet with you, I just want to meet our internal team on the project, and then as soon as that's done, then we will meet. My office knows that we're going to meet on it, and but we got our internal team so that we can tell you exactly what we're going to do. But I want to expand that agenda so that Tafelberg is one. What about Helen Bowden? Why aren't you making a lot of noise about Helen Bowden? Why aren't we clearing the people out of Helen Bowden? I've got to put 60 million rand in an eviction process so that we can get property in the city for exactly the reason that you stand for. But now you don't make a noise about that. You leave guys there occupied. You say, well, let's leave it. You'll focus over here. Focus there as well. Now you move to the parking area. You know that parking area is a long-term been in planning. We'll show you the plans are way ahead of where you think they are, way ahead. But what about District 6? Why aren't you making a lot of noise about District 6? And that's why sometimes I think you're more of a political party than an activism group, and you want to sit in court and you don't actually want to see people living in the inner city. And so that'll be the discussion. And I'm happy. Our team will meet. We'll just get our side ready, and then that meeting will take place.
Yeah, look. You know very well that we're not a political party. You know very well to the same standard that we hold the Western Cape government and the city government, we hold national to the same standard. In fact, even national accuses us of being a political party that is an agent of DA, and DA accuses us of being an agent of the ANC.
No, I don't say which party. I just say you behave more like a party.
So I'm saying that there are those narratives that are false, right? That around us holding government accountable. So we encountered that quite a lot. But what is important, I think, around Tafelberg, what we want to hear is their intention to use that site for social housing, right? That's at the core of what that entire discussion has been about. Yes.
That's why we started registering interested and affected parties, because we knew the case was coming. We were to get moving.
And that's why we've been saying that let's engage in meaningful engagement, so that this intention that we have of using that site for social housing can be clarified and people engage. Because when there's no engagement, people do not know that the office of the Premier has an intention of using that site for social housing. but I'm
We
saying...
can't only engage with that organisation, we've got to engage with everybody, right?
Yes. So
And
I'm
we started that process.
So I'm saying that even that process of public participation, got written 2 letters. I have a letter that I've sent out 2 weeks ago on that project manager of 353 on Main Road, in terms of the process itself and the terms of reference for that process and the time frames of that particular process, because it's not clear on the advertisement, right? And I've not received any correspondence.
Well, now we're back in court again.
No, but it was before that.
Yeah, that's when we started.
And we don't want to be in court. We don't want to go to court.
Good.
Because court, 5.4 million rands of taxpayers' money has been used on litigation, and that's unacceptable. Instead of addressing this question, we're saying that we don't want to. Litigation doesn't help anyone.
No.
It doesn't help us. It doesn't help the province.
But the original court ruling was definitely not in the favour of this province, and we had to get the constitutionality right, and the constitutionality was proved.
And that's why we also feel now that the SCA has erred in its judgment, and we cannot leave that error unrefuted. That's why we're going to the Concord, right, to say that let's clarify the question of legality in terms of the constitutional interpretation of what the province had got to have done. The same way that you felt about the High Court ruling. That's what we wanted.
Yeah, of course.
I think that we're not going to necessarily see eye to eye on the court case. However, we do want to know when that date of the meeting that was set to happen on the 10th of July would be. So we will be looking to receive an email from you confirming a date. And the other thing, we also love to get an update on where exactly that 353 on Main process is and what it does entail, because there was talk about a feasibility study. So we'd love to know more about that, because we do know that some feasibility studies have been done previously, and we don't foresee there being a need for that feasibility study to take 2 years when already so much work has happened. The other thing that we would love to continue engaging on is the land for people, not for parking sites. Like you said, you already have the plans in place. We're happy to hear that you're making progress. That's what we want. We're here because we want to see people have actual homes in the inner city. And if that project leads to people who were previously taken away from the city, dispossessed of land, being brought back into the inner city of the city, we love that. We support that. Please be transparent about that process. The other thing we wanted to talk to you about and ask you is if you've had an opportunity to see the Mother City documentary that was showing at Encounters. We know that the mayor was present at one of the screenings, however, he didn't stay. And we'd like to extend an invite for you and your team to please come to us when we screen this. We'll be screening it in 2 different sessions. The first one will be on the 9th of August at Bertha House. Please come through, there will be space. We would love to see you then, we would love to engage. The other option will be at the Grand West. That should be happening around the 30th of August. We will be sending formal invites. We really would love for you to see that, because it really does humanize the people who at times you have been clashing with. And on that, we'd also love to invite you yet to another platform to discuss these issues further. We have a podcast that we're working with another journalist on talking on transformation. We will be sending you an email, and we look forward to hearing you reply to that, and we really want to engage you on these topics. I think that you have many times said that spatial transformation needs to happen in Cape Town. That is literally why Tafelberg exists. That is the work that we are trying to push, and we're aligned in that way. And rather than constantly trying to further the wedge between us, let's try and work together till people have homes, because that's all that matters. Egos don't matter, political parties don't matter. What matters are the people. So we ask that you please engage us on that. And yeah, I think that's it for now. So we'll definitely follow up with some emails. We are aligned in what we want to do. What you've said aligns with the purpose of why Tafelberg exists. It's just that we need to see proper commitment.
Okay.
It is not enough for random timelines to be said. We need to see facts. We need to see timelines.
We'll show you exactly what those
That's
plans
what we want
are.
to see.
But then will you also tell me exactly what you're doing on District 6 and how you can help us to get District 6 going? Because we should have 10 Conradi densification sites happening on District 6 right now.
Okay, one thing I will say about District 6 is that we are not the people working on that. There are people, they have agency, they have been leading that process. So we are not the people working on that.
Why aren't you advocating for that?
No. It's important to allow people to have agency. We cannot come in as an NGO and take over what people have already been pushing themselves. We can engage with them, we can check in with them to see what's happening. However, we are well aware of the power that we hold, and we will not at any point be leading people when they have been doing
Okay,
that
but
on
you can
themselves.
then update me on what you want to do there and how you want to advocate.
We can definitely
and then
engage.
the same thing with
We
Helen
can
Bowden.
definitely engage, but it is important to let people, if they've been trying to contact you or trying to engage with you, we will allow that to happen. So what was your other question?
And Helen Bowden. Because in actual fact, Helen Bowden is much bigger than. Tafelberg is small compared to Helen Bowden.
The first step, let's meaningfully engage. Meeting you in these spaces where the time is very little for us to engage you is not going to push us forward in any way with Helen Bowden Home. Like I said, we want people to have homes. We don't want people to be evicted into homelessness. And we want to see these sites being developed. Let's meet and let's engage properly. Let's have that conversation. But this is not the platform to have that conversation.
Well, I've already agreed that we'll have that
Arrange
meeting.
a proper meeting and talk about it.
That's already on the way.
No, wanted to talk long.
Okay.
No, it's just this thing around Tafelberg. Just wanting to hear around, this commitment around social housing. We want to get that, and we'll bring the legal team as well for that particular discussion.
Well,
Because I'm encouraged
we've
to
already
hear.
started that process. That's why we started.
What is the term of reference of that process?
We'll have to check from the team.
All right. We look forward to communications from you. We too will communicate on our side, but please let's have that meeting, because if we keep delaying, people are just going to continue staying homeless and no one's going to move forward.
Well, yeah, we are continually investing all over the place in homelessness. We're continuing investing in homes. We've got a
Let's
big
do
project
more of
happening
that.
right now. Of course,
Let's
we'll
do
carry
more
on
of
doing
that.
it.
Just the last